Today, I'm going to show you how to hide and reveal certain sections of web pages or funnel pages built in GoHighLevel using timers. The beauty of this is that you can have your pages update automatically based on time delays or dates as you choose. I'm Kathrine Farris. I've been building marketing automation since 2009, and we build these kinds of dynamic pages inside of GoHighLevel every week for different use cases, such as webinars, launches, and just interesting ways to drip content. In the next few minutes, I will show you how to create a date-based timer for launches with deadlines, as well as a delay-based timer for more dripped content. If you've ever wished you could delay a call to action, or maybe you've had a launch where you've had to go in and update a page multiple times to drip release content that you had promised, then this is an easy fix for that. Well, that is if you're using GoHighLevel. If you're not using GoHighLevel, then please check the description for a 30-day free trial, as well as our affiliate bonuses, or join us with Marketecs Engine. Now let's jump into the tool and take a look at how to build this. Here we are inside of GoHighLevel, or better yet, our version called Marketecs Engine. We are in a demo account, but I have a few pages here that I can show exactly what I'm talking about. When you sign in, you want to come over to the left-hand menu and go to Site. From Sites, you can build this in a funnel or a website. A lot of the stuff that we're using this on tends to be funnels. It tends to be webinars and launches, lead magnets, webinar replays, where at a certain point where the call to action is said or a resource is mentioned, we want that item to appear on the page. That's why I'm going to go ahead and use a funnel as an example. When I open up a funnel, you can see that there are multiple steps in funnels. That's what makes them a funnel versus just a web page. One of the other advantages to funnels is you can have A/B tests. You can't do that with a regular website page. Other than that, the builder is pretty much exactly the same. So let's assume that this was a webinar. Somebody goes to the landing page, they opt in, and then they're going to get the replay on the thank you page. So we're going to edit the thank you page to set some timers so that some of the information on this page will have a bit of a time delay. So we have success, and then there's a calendar to book an appointment. There probably would be a video on this page. Let's drop in a video placeholder. You've got the video, but we don't maybe want the calendar to appear right away. We want to have a little bit of a delay, and we want the calendar to appear when the call to action to actually book an appointment shows up. So let's add in a timer. Now, what we have for a timer is we have a countdown timer where we could actually set a specific date and time. This works great if you have a deadline. And then we have a minute timer and a day timer. The minute timer is more what I would use in this case, where we have a video that's maybe 45 minutes long, and at about the 20-minute mark, we mention booking an appointment, and then we want the calendar to magically appear. The countdown timer would be that if this video, let's say, was going to expire in a week, you could actually hide the video in general on a specific day and said, sorry, you missed it, right? And maybe there's an upgrade or something like that in order to get the rest of the video. Let's start by putting in the timer for the calendar. When we drag and drop the timer in, it creates its own little section in here. And you can see that it is labeled as minute timer right there. And then this section is labeled as calendar. So those are going to be important to pay attention to. When you click on these, the panel on the right-hand side changes so that you can edit the settings. So we've got the minute timer, we can change the way it looks, the font size, all of that stuff. We can change where it is, translation, English, time zone, and we can change the length of time, which we are going to shorten here in a minute. But this expire action is what we're paying attention to. When this expires, what do we want to happen? We want it to hide or show another element. When it expires, we probably want to hide the timer, and there's our minute timer. And we want to show the calendar, and there's our calendar element. And they show up in the order in which they were put on the page, which is why the last two items are the video and then, of course, the timer that was up top. The other thing you'll notice here is the revisit action. If somebody comes back to this page in 15 days, this is actually not going to take effect. You're going to instantly see the calendar. So the cookie expiration says, like, when is this timer going to reset? If somebody came back on day 31, then the timer would be back in effect. You may want to keep this right around 30. You might be happy with that. If anybody comes back within the month, they're going to see the calendar immediately. You can auto reset every time, or you can choose the elements that you want it to have. But I think the auto expire within 30 days is pretty much the rule of thumb. Now let's change this timer so that we can actually see it in action. We're going to bring it down to 1 minute. We're going to save our changes, which brings up our SEO and AEI panel, schema markup being a brand new item in there if you haven't played with it. We're going to publish our page, and now we're going to open it in a new tab and take a look. All right, so we have success, our video, and you can see our countdown timer, and we have a few more seconds. It did reset there, so it started basically at a minute. Now, whether you want the timer to show or not during this period of time, you actually could set that in your layers. You could come over here under your layers. You have to find it here in the dropdown, and you could actually say that you want this minute timer to be hidden. And so then it wouldn't show on the page. The problem with that is it's hidden here in the editor as well. So you do have to kind of remember that it's there. Otherwise, when you see it on this page, you can see what's happening. So we're getting pretty close. We're going to see, there we go. Timer expired, and now we have our calendar, and the timer hid because that's what we chose when the timer expired. So you can see how that works. Now let's take a look, and you can see how it's hidden here. Now, if I wanted to unhide that so that I could actually make edits, that's how I have to, again, make sure I come back in here, hide and unhide using this in order to actually see it in the editor, if you don't want to see it on the live page. I'm interrupting this video to make sure that there is no confusion about HighLevel or about how to work with me. If you want to try HighLevel but don't want to waste months trying to figure it out, I have two very clear options for you to consider. If you're looking to build an agency or a SaaS business, head over to marketecs.com/HighLevel. By using our affiliate link, which costs you nothing, you will get the following bonuses. Our Marketecs Engine Core Snapshot. This is all of the features that we install in every new Marketecs Engine user account, and we're giving it to you for free as an affiliate. Our onboarding guides and access to our private community. An invitation to join our weekly live office hours, where I personally will answer questions and even share tips that I've learned throughout the week. And I'm constantly learning. There is so many new features and things to learn in this industry as a whole, not to mention within the HighLevel platform. Plus, we'll give you our additional templates, checklists, and migration guide. That's option number one. Option two is if you are a business owner just looking to improve your own tech stack and you don't want to do it alone. You would like a trusted strategic partner in your corner that speaks the language, brings you time-tested automations, proven strategies, and up-to-date learning. Then go to marketexengine.com and book a consultation with me to learn more about our high-level agency, Marketecs Engine, and joining our ecosystem. I'm also currently offering discounts on one-on-one consulting to any of our affiliates and high-level users. So whether you're building an agency or building a business, pick your path and let's drive results. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Now, the other option for a timer that I was mentioning was the countdown timer. Now, the countdown timer looks very similar. However, when you come over here to your settings, instead of seeing 45 minutes or an hour, you actually get to pick a date and a time. So let's pick something that is not too far off from right now. And you can see if I pick 8 p.m. New York time, that this is now a 45-minute timer. And let's say I wanted something a little more specific. I could actually set this for, let's say, 7:18 p.m. We'll save. And on this one, when it expires, we want to hide the video. All right, I'm going to click publish, and then I'm going to open my page again. Because I had my cookie set for 30 days, even though I refresh my page, it's been within 30 days. So my initial timer is hidden because my calendar is showing. And now the timer for the video is showing up. And again, this is where you may want to hide some of these in the actual element side of things so that you're not seeing a bunch of timers on your page. But it's helping for demonstration purposes right now to just see how much time is left before this video is supposed to be hidden. All right, there we go. We're down to 1 second, and now my video is hidden. I think you can probably tell the sort of the value of these and how they would be used, how you can hide or show an element based on a very specific date and time, or simply a time range, sort of a delay timer. And you can use these on any page. And like I said, you can hide them in this layers section here. so that they're not visible if you don't actually want to see them visible on the page. The other thing you could do if you weren't comfortable with that and wanted to have them visible on the page is you could actually put a headline above it and say something like appointment calendar available in, and then have a countdown. Or you could do something like video only available for, and have a countdown. So if you're not comfortable hiding those, or if you actually want to create a little sense of urgency or a little sense of what's going to happen next and get people to pay attention because it does put some motion on the page, you could use these timers to your advantage and put headlines in there for them. Now, in that case, if you do that, when the timer expires, you will also want to make sure that you're hiding the element that talks about when the timer expires. So you don't want to hide just one element now. You want to hide multiple elements. And the subheadlines you do see here, when you hover over it, it tells you which one it is. So for this one, it's the minute timer, and we're going to hide that subheadline, and then it's going to show the calendar. So that makes sense. So just as a reminder, if you do put headlines in there, make sure you hide them when you hide your timer, if you hide your timer. All right, so a couple reminders just to make sure that this works properly for you is it will be much easier if you remember to name your sections so that you can easily find them and it doesn't get confusing, especially if you do what I just did and you have multiple timers on a single page. For testing purposes, it's often best to open things in an incognito browser window. That way it's not going to hold on to those cookies and those settings, and you can test multiple times. The other option is to test on multiple browsers, which I typically recommend anyway. You may want to test on a phone as well as on your desktop. And then keep in mind time zones. As you may have noticed in a couple of those timers, they did specifically say New York time, and that is something that you want to make sure you're mentioning in your marketing, is if there's a specific time zone when this ends. So that's how we create launch-ready pages with date and delay timers that feel interactive and create a sense of urgency that we don't have to monitor. If you want help building your next funnel, click the links in the description or book a consultation. And if you're not yet using GoHighLevel, I highly recommend this for your sales and marketing automation. It is one of the best platforms we have ever used. You can use our affiliate link for a 30-day free trial and a bunch of bonuses, or you can join Marketecs Engine and get more access to us as well as all of our templates. Again, links are in the description. I hope this was useful. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment for more.